Hola, how are you guys? I am totally like just chilling out at home. Um, Hope you guys are having a great day. Super awesome day. Um, Wonder what you guys are doing out on your Saturday. If you're out doing anything, having any nice plans with anybody. It's a little warm here, so I think it's in the upper 80s, but it's kind of humid. So I will usually wait until like the sun starts to almost set a little bit, and then I'll go out and go for a walk probably today at that nice beautiful place where I take the pictures of the lake. But yeah, I was kind of just hanging out, wondering what everybody's up to. I've had a pretty peaceful past couple of days. Um, Kind of rehabbing, I guess. When you have a lot going on sometimes. And then you're like, wow, why do I feel so discombobulated, or something sometimes. And I'll kind of look back and go, gee, wow, yeah, I kind of did have a lot happen or a lot go on, since like, well, we've all kind of had that since like the COVID began, and then we have, life on top of all of that. So, yeah, I know we're all adjusting, but it's still interesting. But, yeah, so I had a bunch of stuff go on, and I realized that it kind of caught up to me a little bit. So I kind of, when I read the part of that book, the Red Bird book, to you the other day, and I sat on that hill for a couple hours and just kind of sat in quiet. That's when I got a chance to really hear, I guess, hear what was going on, and that I needed to slow down a little bit and take some get some R&R, rehab myself, so to speak, a little bit, go even a little bit slower, and catch back up with quiet, catch back up with the quiet, or let the quiet catch back up with me, I guess. So, but yeah, so it's feeling good. I spent the last couple of days, 2 of the days, I think I actually slept 13 hours the other day, and then 11 last night. So, but I needed it, and I suggest that if anybody gets a chance to just kind of let your body do its own thing, regardless of the time or when it is. Sometimes you just need to. But anyway, yeah, I hope everybody's doing good. And hey, 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 hey to everybody that's popping on. I love you guys that you're here. So cool. Um, and if you are doing anything or whatever, feel free to put it in the comments, so I can comment on that later, comment back, or I'm always interested in what everybody's up to. And but yeah, I was kind of hanging out and sent some healing over to my cousin who's surviving a good tumor removed, from her head, from her brain, her head. So that's awesome. She's doing pretty good, just going through some pain, but she's doing awesome. So I sent out some healing to her, and that was good. And in the midst of that, and having a pretty quiet day, just kind of mellowing out, and you know, what's God calling me to do until I decide to go for my walk later, maybe. But I was talking to someone on the phone earlier, and we were talking about, I think I was talking about my frog in his tank, and how he goes so fast now that he's in his tank that he keeps smacking his face on the edge of the glass. And I feel so bad for him that he like rams his nose into the glass. And I said one day, when he's got a bigger tank and he gets to have that sense of freedom, and I was talking about freedom and how I as a person experienced that, where my life has changed and how we can grow spiritually and stuff like that. And you actually can experience, like freedom, like flying like a bird, and you can experience that kind of freedom in your life. And you truly can, because I have actually experienced it. And as I continue on my practices and the things that I do, I continue to experience it even more and more, and even more, stronger. So yeah, there really is no, some people stop and think that this is all that life is where they are in their life at some point, where this is it, you have this, that, whatever, your job, your home, your kids, or wherever you're at, and they think that that's all that is there, and that's not true. If that's the way they see it, and that's the way you want to see it, then that's gonna how it is going to be, how it's going to be. Kind of like that little story, like 2-second story I put up the other day, which is believe in something good, because the more you do that, the more you'll receive good, and the more you'll see good. It's the same with anything else. So it's like the power of manifesting with your thoughts and your beliefs. And so I mean, you can truly experience freedom. You really truly can, and then it can actually grow, so. But that being said, I was talking about freedom, and I was sending a picture because he's from, a friend of mine is from Kenya, which is pretty cool. And he's been here for a long time now, but he was talking about, elephants and zebras, and I said how ironic I have his pictures on my wall, and those animals like zebras and things like that do stand for freedom, so I thought it was pretty cool. And I am going to just flip around and show you the picture. Let's see if it flips right. Oh, there it goes. So, see, I love it, and I was thinking about you guys, and I wanted to just pop on, and this is what actually triggered my thought. Be true to yourself. Loyal, love, wander, roam, explore, dream. Always remember what matters the most and forgive the things that keep you from moving on. Be kind, be faithful, explore, be deliberate with your actions so that you may achieve your goals. Always be yourself. Be love free. Never give up on the things that you care passionately about. Be free. Never underestimate what you have the strength to accomplish. Roam, explore, remember what matters. So good, right? Size isn't everything. Be true. Stay with those you love. Roam the world in search of your truth. Wander, discover, be strong, be faithful, respect, find your place. Right? And then, of course, there's some of the same ones on this one, but I just love it. Imagine what can be. Roam, walk, run, explore. Read between the lines. Life isn't always black and white. Right? Bask in the sun. Let your imagination run free. Be wild, explore, be free. Me and all. Here, I'm trying to flip this camera back around. Flip around. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to share that, simple good things with you guys today, So, I was that, and chances are I'm going to read the rest of Gift of the Red Bird, Chapter 2, when I'm done chatting. But I was thinking earlier about how could I ever put a label or on the top of my videos on what I'm going to talk about, because I always talk about so many different things, so I can't really do that. But I was kind of, after the treatment I was doing for my cousin, I was on my yoga mat, which is pretty cool. It's like right here. It's right there. So I was doing that, and then I was kind of in my simple little pose, just kind of holding it, and I was looking at this, and it's just so peaceful. And I read this, and I thought, what a beautiful thing to share today, right? So I've got some cool little things in here from, that was my grandmother's, and this was roses from someone, and yeah, I have all sorts of things. My mom bought me this book, and it's like a Hallmark book with different quotes or sayings on the inside of it. And sometimes I'll just flip the book and I'll leave it and I'll just leave it on that stand, and kind of like when I'm looking at my Bible, right, or something. My daughter actually painted that when she was a kid. How cool, right? Reminds me of like a little buffalo. But sometimes, like when I'll pick up a book and I'll just go, where am I meant to be on? And that's where I'll leave it, or that's what I'll read. So I just really thought this was beautiful, and I'm going to share this. And it says, love vanquishes time. To lovers, a moment can be eternity. Eternity can be the tick of a clock. Across the barriers of time and the ultimate destiny, love persists. For the home of the beloved, absent or present, is always in the heart, mind, and heart. Absence does not diminish love. And I love that, right? For the home of the beloved, absent or present, is always in the mind and heart. Absence does not diminish love. I just really loved that. So, yeah. So that's what triggered my little video for you today. So yeah, I was like, oh, what am I gonna name my video all the time? And I could sit there and just like stare at it blankly, because I don't know. Because I'd be like, well, if I'm gonna read something, that's fine, but that's not all I'm gonna do, right? You guys know me. So I love that you guys are here though, watching with me and everything. I will message you back in the comments when I'm done, whatever. But I hope you guys are doing awesome. And yeah, so I can't believe it's like 5 o'clock already, and I thought to bring those, I don't know, peaceful little vibey, good vibes to you today, and just see what you're up to. And for those of you who are interested, I am going to finish reading the second chapter of Gift of the Red Bird to my tiny little book. For those of you who haven't seen the other videos, I did make 3 videos, but this book is very small, so it's not like I'm sitting here reading large chapters or anything. It's just a couple pages usually. But so far she has went to that powwow, and then she had lost. This is a true story, a small spiritual encounter for those who don't know what I'm reading about. And it says Gift of the Red Bird, so I've only read halfway through before I started sharing it with you, and I haven't read the rest either, so it's all going to be a surprise to you and I both with what this book turns out to be in the end, with I'm sure it has something to do with the cardinal. So, but either way, we reached the spot. Thank you for being here too. Peace and love to you. And this is pretty intense. Where we left off was where she had about 6 months into the story, 6 months after, she had lost her daughter and her husband in the car accident. And I said I think I read the 6 months of August 1975 through October, November, and December of 1975, and I'm going to pick up on January of 1976. And go through January, February, and March. That's a couple pages. March, and then August. And that will be the end of chapter 2. So that's what I'm going to read. It's going to be a little bit. Yeah, so... All right, so I'm going to start reading that. So I shared that little bit of stuff with you, and now I'm going to read a little bit of Gift of the Red Bird, Spiritual Encounter by Paula Darcy. So thank you for being here and sharing this with me. Love you guys. Okay, so January of 1976. I scream, why? For months I've screamed, why? Why did this happen to me? Wasn't I good enough? Am I being punished? Could you have controlled this, God, but didn't? Why? Did you hate me? I only stop asking why when I sleep. Then I feel a presence next to me, down here in the abyss. I don't know how I know that. I just know. Something is different. I'm not alone. It's as if someone is saying to me, look, use your eyes. See. And so out of my depths I begin to look into people's eyes for the first time in my life, and I'm startled by what I see. So many people are unhappy. Many are bitter. Most people look without seeing. That has been me. I am looking in a mirror, but some eyes are different. They are filled with a certain light, and it draws me like a laser. I want it. Sliced open, unable to be fooled, I see the light is good. How did they get it? I need to know. I begin to see something else. The people with the bitter, unseeing eyes avoid my pain. They are uncomfortable with it, with me. They want me to be myself again and to stop reminding them that life is treacherous. I'm sure that whoever's watching this, including myself, have experienced all of that. I have. But the people with the light-filled eyes are not frightened by my grief. Some admit that they don't begin to understand it, but none of them can be dissuaded from their belief that God is with me in it. They say he has never left me, would not. In fact, he is in the abyss with me, waiting, and he will stay with me as long as it takes. Love and unconditional acceptance surrounded my pit. They are real. There is something deeper than the abyss. I eat those words like my first meal after a long fast. They would be merely words, except for the light. I think about it. A God who stays with me? Not someone far away? Not someone only the clergy can reach? Not someone confined to Bibles and prayer books and sanctuaries? A God so personal and loving that he's in this pit with me? A God who is close and real, yet he asks so much. He asks me to look at wrecked cars and stolen lives, to stare straight ahead at only darkness and believe in light. He asks me to change and to see differently, but maybe not so difficult to do in my circumstances. I have tried everything. Nothing else I know can pierce the darkness and turn it back. Not perfection or hard work, not control, not even the best values. If any of these things had the power to endure, I would have seen it. I would know. But they were all movable. So here I am in the dark, in the face of being refused, in the face of being refused the people and the life I wanted the most. My future is utterly unknown. There is nothing to guide me but the light. There is nothing to assure me but faith. And yet, I am about to take the first step. I am suspending all I have been taught in order to follow my own path. Perhaps I will reach some of the same conclusions with which I was raised, but this will be different. They will no longer be premises. I will own them. They are right to call it a leap. They are right to call it a leap, because it is. So that was January of 1976. Now we're in February of 1976. I slowly begin to understand that it is up to me to choose how I will respond to this pain. I can let it eat me and grow my own bitter eyes, or I can let go of my assumptions about how life should be and search for the beauty in what life is. It's like bread loaves from crumbs, the pieces of my life transformed into something beautiful. Tears into joy, mourning into dancing. It is a choice. I can barely live, and I can barely believe that God is with me in this pit for as long as it takes. Why? Why me? Days ago, I was demanding to know, why me? Why am I cursed? Now I'm asking, why am I so blessed? I also have this growing conviction that when God first came to me in response to my prayer, he dimmed himself. I know he is blinding white light, but I could never have withstood the brightness. Somehow that gesture moves me more than 1,000 miracles. This book is so good. So We're in March of 1976 now. I shouldn't say this book, this story. The story is so good. And the last time I was reading this to you, when I was sitting on the hilltop last reading, right when I was reading it, she was talking about losing her husband and her daughter, and then having another daughter later on. Remember I was talking about there was someone walking by talking on their phone. It didn't dawn on me until afterwards that it was a woman with a daughter. And I just thought about that for a minute and thought some part of how, her energy and her spirit and her story, I'm reading to you guys and reading it myself, and it's walking me through something too, but kind of felt like she was sort of there, for however that sounds to you guys. But there was that woman and her daughter walking up that big hill right past me. I mean, this hill is so big, and there's so many other places to walk. The hill is so big, and it's a steep hill too, right? And here I was on my blanket under a tree, and there was nobody. And all of a sudden I just happened to look up from my book while I'm talking to you guys, and there's a woman walking with her daughter right next to me, out of all places. And I'm like, there's someone talking on the phone, I just thought that was pretty cool. I love little signs like that. So, on to March of 1976. My body readies itself to give birth. I shudder with fear that this child too may die, because now she's pregnant with her child. She's pregnant with her second child. I shudder with fear that this child too may die. I have never been more aware that life is fragile. The deepest desire of my heart is to have a healthy, natural birth, and hopefully another little girl to love. After so much death, every cell in my body wants to experience life. I have asked God to promise me at least that. The baby is ready. I am ready, but my body won't go into labor. My fear is too great, I'm sure. My doctor sends me to the hospital for a cesarean, but because of my pleading, he induces my labor first to give me a last chance at a normal delivery. With full force of my will, I commanded my body into labor. And I know this has a good spiritual, I did read this part earlier, this has a really good spiritual analogy with it. It's really good. With full force, my will, I command my body into labor, but it remains frozen. I am prepped for surgery and take myself off to a corner of the labor room, sit in a green wing chair, and close my eyes. God, I say, just that. God. I feel anger rising up. The words, God, what do you want? Finally come out. What do you want from me? You have my husband. You have my daughter. I'm fighting so hard to accept my life as it is, to trust you. I haven't asked for anything else except this natural birth. What more do you want from me? There is nothing but my tears for several moments. Then I hear a voice within me. The voice is distant, clear, loving. It says, Paula, I want you to want me more than you want anything. I've been there. 2 or 3 nurses, and maybe I should repeat that again. I want you to want me more than you want anything, is the voice that she hears. 2 or 3 nurses are moving around me. The anesthesiologist is present, waiting. But my inner reality is suddenly more deafening than the everyday world of which I am part of. Look at yourself, I hear God gently saying. Really see yourself. See how you hold on to things. Whatever comes first, whatever you want the most, whatever you have to have, becomes your God. Put me first. That will change everything. Without trying, I am suddenly seeing my life through a different set of eyes. I see clearly that my daughter Sarah has been my God. Yes, I loved her as a mother should, but I also clung to her. I thought I owned her. I made her my purpose for living. She was not a soul with whose care I had been entrusted. She was someone I believed to be mine. I see her and all my other false gods. I hear God's words and I see difference between what he is saying and what I have done. It is hushed and quiet. I am weary beyond description. I ask for answers and I'm receiving them. That is a tough part, isn't it? When you ask for answers and then you actually receive you ask questions and you receive the answers. I suspect that I'm being taught universal spiritual law. I am at the end of me, I know that. With my eyes still shut, I finally relinquish the need to be right and have my own way and stop trying to be God. If I weren't so top-heavy, I'd be on my knees. Inside, I'm on my knees. I have surrendered. I give God me, including the way I wanted things to be and the answers I needed to have. I not only accept God's plan for my life, I seek it. Go ahead, I say. You lead and I'll follow. This operation isn't what I had in mind, but I'll make it through. Just don't leave me. It is so still. Man, can I relate? I can relate so much with this story. It's just it's just amazing and so deep and so good, and I love how she says earlier, look at yourself. I hear God gently saying, really see yourself, see how you hold on to things, whatever comes first, whatever you want the most, whatever you have to have becomes your God. Put me first, that will change everything. And I do have something to share with you guys another time that's still sticking in my mind, apparently, because it shows up in this book and another book and another book all around the same time. And it's about not needing a plan B, because as long as if you believe in God, then you don't need a plan B, which is a pretty awesome analogy. And I love it. I think it's so good. And I walk that path, and it shows to be fruitful and safe and trusting and beautiful. So I'm going to pick back up here, not to lose you. So she says, it is so still. Then, unexpectedly, I'm filled with freedom. Filled with freedom. I do not feel a little bit free. I feel outrageously, tremendously free. Walking on air free. 10 inches off the ground free. I am a pathetic single woman stripped of everything and about to bear a child I can sacredly support. And yet none of it matters. There is nothing left that I desire more than God. I own nothing. But more importantly, nothing owns me. I am no longer resisting. And I hope that for the guys watching that, they don't pop off of the story just because it's a woman, reading about, reading from a woman's perspective, because the story, the spiritual meaning and the everything we're going to get out of this is the healing and just the awakening and the perspective and everything is truly just amazing. So I hope the guys don't pop off just because it's woman reading about certain female stuff. We all have feminine and masculine energies that we need to have balanced so we can be properly balanced as well. So it's like the yin and your yang. So then, just as swiftly as my joy has come, it is eclipsed by tremendous pain. Pain as if my very bones were moving. I laughed to myself and asked the nurse to get the doctor. I'm ready to give birth, and I know it. I won't need their knife. I am free, and so is my body. I am ready. The nurses roll their eyes. They think I have gone over the edge. The doctor is already scrubbed for surgery, and he doesn't want to come. For my own safety, he is anxious to proceed. The x-rays and the statistics are all contrary to my proclaimed readiness. But he checks me anyway, probably to appease me. Then they're all quiet. When they move again, it is to take me to the delivery room. And before any of us can grasp it, we are looking at my daughter, Beth. born naturally, born in joy. I hold Beth in my arms to nurse her. She is amazing, but the real birth today was my own. As I look at her, I see that she is a gift. She is mine to hold, but not to possess. It makes all the difference. You treat a God differently than you do a possession. And God loved me enough to show me how to relinquish her before I would ever embrace her. If I hadn't learned this, given my grief, I fear I would have smothered us both. And I do know, people with their children think that they own like their children, and hopefully this will open up somebody's eyes too as well with their children. That I like the saying that someone once said to me once about my daughter was not born for me, but through me, because we don't own our children. I weep because God is willing to stick it out with me through all my anger and all my despair, wanting me to be healed more deeply than I could have believed possible. I have received so much more than I asked for. So just imagine losing your husband and your daughter and then having birth like within the year, birthing the child of the husband that you lost, and then going through all the emotional stuff, the stuff that happens to your body just from that kind of stress being on you, that it's like having a nervous breakdown, or having anxiety hit you or whatever, or just having stress hit you so hard that it really takes you down hard, and then you still gotta have these other things, and your mind just doesn't work right, and your body doesn't work right, and the world just doesn't seem to work right. So I've gone through my own stuff. I'm sure whoever's listening and to these stories has as well, and we can all relate in some way together. So I think it's cool we're reading this together, that you're here with me. So I am just going to finish reading August of 1976, and that's just literally like a paragraph, and then I'll be done reading chapter 2, and then the next time I read, I will be reading chapter 3. So, but remember, we don't have a whole lot, so, because I'm just right here right now. That's not a very big book or story, but her words are so much bigger than this book, right? Enough to fill the universe. August of 1976. This year has been harder than any days I lived. Yet in a strange way, I also call this period my glory days. Days of stark pain and bright light. They convince me that the wells for pain and joy are not separate. I have never hurt so badly, nor seen such brilliance. I have never hurt so badly, nor seen such brilliance simultaneously. I can relate to that statement. It's amazing. I have been born to the bottom of the pit, and love was deeper still. I have been to the bottom of the pit, and love was deeper still. The power of love is greater than the power of pain. It is a fact. The knowing is in me. I have seen through so much illusion, even though I suffered greatly to gain the sight. Now I know that the real powers are of the Spirit. How is that like such a great way to end chapter 2? Gift of the Red Bird. It's going to be really interesting when I was talking to someone earlier saying, like, this is how much I have left that I actually read before I started reading to you guys. And I really do feel like I'm reading the story for the first time all over again, to myself, like it's hitting me differently, right? So this is all I have left before I'll reach a spot that I haven't read at all. So I'm actually going to be feeling and reading this interesting, getting to this part of the book without having read any of it. So I'll be reading it together with you, which I think will be really cool. So we just finished chapter 2 of Gift of the Red Bird. So we'll be doing chapter 3 the next time I read. So I hope you guys are doing awesome. Hello to everybody that's here with me. I love that you guys are commenting, and I love when I see your guys' comments pop up. I did get smart. I don't know if I can turn comments. I remember I was like having that spiritual. I had like an spiritual encounter of my own the last time one of the last times I was doing a video, and I about choked up. And I was like, boy, I got to avoid like seeing comments come up, because that hit me, and I kind of got derailed, so to speak. And it was obviously for you to see. So what, it was obviously for you to experience, and so for me to experience as well, having that happen. But I love seeing your guys' comments and stuff pop up. I don't know if I can turn the comments off yet, so that way they don't pop up while I'm reading, and so I don't get distracted too much. But yeah, I love, hi you guys, I love that you're here. I mean, hey everybody, Kevin, Gabriel, Brian, thank you. Happy Saturday to you guys. I love that you're here. Thank you so much. I mean, I truly, I think you guys know how much I enjoy, our interaction. So, Kevin's been sick, so I hope he feels better. Carrie, hi. I'll have to send her where I got my yoga mat from. And I guess I can do that after, is maybe go through your comments when my video is over, so that way it's like doing the credits or something. Hi everybody, Jeff and Carrie and Paul and Phil, Kevin, you guys are awesome. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your evening. The sun is like slowly starting to get down towards that way, so I'll actually go and recharge. I maybe just take a nice slow walk out in the woods as it starts to cool off. So I love you guys for being here. Thank you so much, and I'm always sending you so much peace and love, good happy vibes, sending that to you. Please send that back out. I know that we are all adjusting a little. I know I am. This whole pandemic COVID thing, roller coaster, is sort of becoming something that we are acclimating to, and becoming sort of normal in a strange way, right? But it's not, and we still have to deal with challenges and things like that. We still have to be careful, and there's so much to pray for, and so many good vibes, there's so many good vibes that are needed, and everyone's still got to go through life through all of this, and my thoughts and prayers are always out there with you and your families and everybody. On top of all of that, those things, we still have disasters and things happening in the world. So I heard something about a bomb and some mushroom cloud and losing a bunch of people dying. And so, we don't want to just get back to our own, now that we're all done with the shock of everything, we don't want to start getting lazy. I want everybody to hold on to their prayers and their thoughts of other people, and being kind. A lot of people are starting to really feel the brunt, running around with these masks on all the time, people who can't really go in public. There's so many prayers needed out there. Helping hands are needed out there, even if it's just a kind word or a kind smile. It really truly is making the biggest difference. So I hope you all can, join in that with me, just to keep your vibes, positivity as high as possible, so we can have a positive effect on the things around us and the people who are struggling more, that need our help. So yeah, we haven't talked about in a while. I think everybody is getting a little, kind of lax in the whole situation. So I do thank you guys for being here. bring you some good happy vibes, and I can feel your good vibes coming back at me, so I appreciate that. And peace and love and healing and good vibes to you guys, and let's share some of that and spread it around. So smiles to you, and I will be seeing you soon. Peace and love. Thank you for being here.